International hummingbirds can flit in and out of Hong Kong just to sip the nectar. But 6 million people actually live here, and at the end of the day's work, they must find their amusement here or else nowhere. For almost all of them, at every level of income, a train ride leads to the GG's. Sha Tin Racecourse is a temple to a pastime redefined as heavy industry. The tax on the turnover is enough to pay the wages of Hong Kong's entire police force, who are here in plain clothes on their nights off. Everybody's here. They really care about racing. There's big money to be made, and that's enough to make it a religious observance. Treated like royalty, ordinary punters lay bets in the comfort of the restaurant. They decorate the table with their own electronic equipment to access the database on every horse, assess its form and calculate the odds. Is it a game of chance? Somebody once asked W.C. Fields. Not the way I play it, he replied. The man in charge of the whole deal is a blast from the past. Very British, very Royal Artillery, very suave. Major General Guy Watkins.
There's a lot of people here.
A lot of people, yeah, there always are on a Saturday night.
Why are they so crazy about racing?
Racing's been here a long time, number one. Two, there is no major league professional sport in Hong Kong to compete with it. We don't have intercity sport like Arsenal playing Liverpool or whatever. That doesn't apply here. Thirdly, this is the only gambling opportunity in town, or the only legal one, I have to say that. And fourthly, I think they're the best informed punters in the world, and they take it very seriously.
We're talking big, big money here. What does the Jockey Club do with all that money?
At the end of the year, we make a surplus if we're running our business properly, and we do. And of that surplus, we plough about 45% back into racing, building facilities like this, and then about £100 million a year we give away. And with that, we give to charities that help the poor, the disabled, the blind, the sick, all the people who basically can't share in the general prosperity of Hong Kong's life. We're generally good.
So really you're running an elaborate version of a national lottery?
Oh no, we have a lottery here as well. We do run the lottery actually for the government, but funny enough, the people here don't like the lottery very much. It may sound silly, but they regard it as gambling. Literally, they say there's no way of working anything out. It is pure luck. That is gambling. I mean, tonight we will probably turn over about $850 million. On the lottery, we will turn over about $38 to $40 million. They basically don't like it.
What will happen to the Royal Hong Kong Jockey Club when it's no longer royal in 1997?
We have very good relationships with the government in Beijing. They have assured us and assured the Hong Kong people that they see racing as part of the Hong Kong's way of life, they see betting as part of Hong Kong's way of life, and they don't want it to stop. And in fact, whenever any important ministers or whatever come down from China to Hong Kong, they almost always come racing, which is nice.
So it sounds as if the Beijing heavies have already calculated the odds and placed their bets. Next morning, I stood tall in the prow of my powerful craft as I sped into the new territories to meet a multicultural man of mystery who doubles as a diplomat with an eye to the future. A close friend of both the Prince and Princess of Wales, equally welcome in both Beijing and Hong Kong, which is almost as difficult. David Tang is a sort of reverse Dr. No who wishes the world nothing but peace and prosperity. He's Dr. Yes.
I'm not going to help you.
In little trouble communicating. That's very good of you. Thank you.
I make my way.
The layout testifies to his wealth and its beauty to his taste. Odd Job lurks in the garden, but only to keep tabs on the Dow Jones Index. Called Tang by all who know him, the master of this and many other houses settled down to be quizzed by yet another nosy foreign devil. The one thing I thought I knew about Hong Kong was that there's no spare land. Yeah? But look at all this.
Well, it's of course a misconception, because if you would read about a place, you always read rubbish. 40% of Hong Kong is actually a country park, so there is a great deal of green land, and even the other 60%, there is quite a lot. The only problem is that land is scarce because the government choose not to auction it off too quickly to keep the prices up.
What are the main differences between the British and the Chinese?
Well, we Chinese are richer than you are now, for a start. We, of course, have never had an aristocracy, so we are not so much more class conscious than you are. And throughout British history, trade has always been regarded as rather vulgar, and of course that is our lifeblood.
Well, you're known for respecting the British heritage. How does that go over in Peking with the men in charge there?
Let me say that being pro-China doesn't mean that you're anti-British, nor if you're pro-British that you're anti-Chinese. They're not mutually exclusive. I think one of the main points about people who suddenly, because of 1997, switch side is that they are the hypocrites. Because here are the Chinese who, because of this exceptionally good colonial rule in Hong Kong, have managed to make a great deal of money. And because it's expedient for them now to kowtow to Peking, they seem to switch side and want to pronounce their anti-British feelings. And I think that that's just a great display of disloyalty. I mean, I'm Chinese. I feel completely Chinese. There's not another man who feels more Chinese than I do. I mean, I live there. I wear Chinese clothes. People laugh at me. But actually, they, on the one hand, say that, you know, we don't want any Western things, and they're wearing a Armani tie and Armani suit as Yves Saint Laurent underpants. Those are the people that I should be criticizing.
How bad would it have to get before you decided you had to leave?
I think it will have to be very bad. Very, very bad. Let's say the communists came in and confiscated everything I had. I might decide that I would turn into a communist. My philosophy tutor always told me that subjective conditionals are always true.
But you're a man who speaks his mind. You're famous for it. And the communists are rather famous for not letting people speak their minds.
Well, that's the trouble. Perhaps I will be forced to leave.
Yeah.
They might say, we don't want you here. Will you please leave? I hope that won't happen.
Joining the East to the West and Hong Kong to Beijing, Tang just might end up as emperor of the new united China. There isn't much he can't make happen. That evening, Tang invited me to a cocktail party on the roof terrace of one of his many enterprises, the China Club.
This is the place for the cocktail party?
Upstairs, please.
Right.
It costs £12,000 just to join. To build the place, Tang converted the top floors of the old Bank of China building. For Tang, there is only one China, a conviction he backs up by festooning the walls of his club with artworks created on the mainland under communist rule. His belief that repression has been no curb to creativity seems less perverse when you see the results. In the club's main salon, it looked like a Wall Street stag party. Inquiries yielded the information that the women had been banished to the terrace and Tang was out there with them. He certainly was. As usual, he had surrounded himself with the kind of women who cost a mint to marry and even more to divorce. It helps get a man of his intelligence through the social grind. A brandy importer was sponsoring that night's party. The next night's would be sponsored by someone else. The same people would be here again. Whether the Beijing killjoys will ever smile on social bun fights like this remains an open question. Here was the capitalist elite in its pure state. Just passing through, John Paul Getty's granddaughter felt right at home.
Yes, it's got such an energy pulsating. It kind of reminds me, slightly of New York. So when you walk on the streets, you feel this vibe, and this everyone is out there to have power and make money. Everyone wants to make money, and everybody's trying to go faster than the other and fight each other. This is Asian New York.
Is money enough? Or is there such a thing as
Money is never enough in Hong Kong.
Nobody gives a damn what sort of title you have. It's your balance sheet of what sort of capital assets you have. This is one town that doesn't give a, about that. Maybe even New York, they're impressed with the title, but not here.
But the ladies seem very, very well turned out.
Yeah. The women here, they take good care of themselves.
Some of the rich guys here have trophy wives. You've got that expression here?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Does it happen?
All the
The
time.
label trophy is only a latest Western label. I mean, they've always had their concubines.
Yeah.
You
No, they
know.
have a trophy wife,
Yeah.
and then they have
And
a
then
bit
the
at the
con-
side.
Oh, as well.
I hear that you're going to have another wife on the other side of the water.
Oh, yes, that's very in.
In China, you know why?
Very
Someone
trendy.
told me, they said, it's cheaper to have mistresses in Shanghai because there's no Chanel
Your
boutique
naughty
there.
history, David.
Then it was kissy-kissy time. The beautiful women went home without me as usual. Early in your career as a journalist, you make your excuses and leave. Later on, you make your excuses after they leave. Soaring above it all like a diamond dagger upraised, the new Bank of China building is a subtle hint. The boys from Beijing want to come to the party too.